Hi, this is Lenny Labrizzi, along with Dominique Burrell, Mark Latour, and Charlie Olson. Welcome to the Mostly Good Environmental News Report, where we cover positive local and global environmental issues, milestones, and activities that you may not hear about. Very often the news about the environment is not good. We hear about climate chaos in all of its manifestations, drought, wildfires, floods, species loss. But there are good things happening in the environment we will share with you in this podcast. We hope you enjoy listening. And if any listeners have ideas for stories we should do, please let us know in the comments. For our first good news item, Dominique Burrell will tell us about some new protections for sharks and rays. Dominique, let's hear some good news.
In a landmark move, countries around the world have adopted international protections for many species of sharks and rays that are widely hunted and whose parts are used in products like makeup, moisturizers, and food. The measures were passed in late 2025 as part of the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, an agreement among 185 countries aimed to ensure that international trade in wild animals and plants does not threaten the survival of the species. The whale shark, the largest fish species in the world and hunted for its fins, meat, and skin, is now banned from commercial trade, a shift that will help the species recover and also help boost local tourism. White-tipped sharks, manta rays, and devil rays, which are traded for food and medicine, now also have protections. It's effectively saying, for some species, we shouldn't commercialize them. They should be fully protected. Wedgefish and giant guitarfish, sought after for their high-value fins for shark fin soup, are suspended as exports for 10 years. Gulper sharks, whose liver oil is used for cosmetics, can be traded only with permits. Smoothhound sharks and topi sharks, prized for their meat, are now under similar restrictions. It's taken 30 years to get recognition that sharks and rays, keystone predators in marine ecosystems globally, need that protection. Countries across the globe met in Uzbekistan and passed the measures, covering 70 shark and ray species. Each country determines how to implement these protections, issuing permits, approving exports and imports, and reporting trade annually. They can penalize violators with fines, seizures, or imprisonment. More than 1/3 of shark and ray species around the world are threatened with extinction. Whale sharks have seen their populations plummet by 50% over the past 75 years. But they are far more valuable for tourism because people want to see manta rays and whale sharks in their natural environment. Gulper sharks are widely commercialized for their rich liver oil, a substance used for cosmetics and vaccine products. Their oil contains squalene, which is used for its moisturizing and antioxidant properties. These species might need even stronger protection because they grow incredibly slowly, taking decades to mature. People should think twice about whether they use a natural cosmetic product or a synthetic version. The critically endangered wedgefish and giant guitarfish are the two most vulnerable of all shark and ray families. Their fins can trade for up to $300 per pound. This agreement to protect sharks and rays covers about 96% of the global shark fin trade. If any customs official in the world sees a shipment of shark fins, that person knows a permit is needed. And that really does help close loopholes that have been used to launder illegally traded shark fins. And that is really good news for the environment. And now Charlie is going to speak about how Hanoi is cracking down on air pollution.
Hanoi has ordered an urgent crackdown on toxic air as smog shrouds the city. Toxic smog has returned to Vietnam's capital, blanketing the city of Hanoi and prompting authorities to urge residents with respiratory conditions to stay indoors while setting out urgent messages to tackle air pollution. Hanoi authorities plan to use remote monitoring systems, including security cameras and AI integrated traffic cameras, to track and clamp down on polluting and expired vehicles and the illegal burning of garbage, straw, and agricultural byproducts. Monitoring data shows Hanoi has hit the red unhealthy level on quite a few days in a row. The capital has consistently ranked among the world's 10 most polluted cities, and the forecast is for these conditions to deteriorate further. The capital's air pollution spikes each winter due to a mix of problems. One is traffic emissions, another is industrial and construction dust, and further, smoke comes from agricultural burning in surrounding provinces. Seasonal weather patterns trap these pollutants over the city, creating thick smog and dangerously high particulate matter, which is measured in levels called PM2-5, and that poses serious health risks to residents. All building contractors now will need to, one, implement strict dust control measures, then also to plant more trees, and further to build dust monitoring systems at all large projects that are over 100,000 square feet. Construction projects that do not meet the requirements are being suspended. Hanoi's health department is urging residents, particularly the elderly, children, and at-risk individuals, to limit outdoor activities and wear masks during high air pollution periods. It is preparing for a surge in respiratory cases. Schools have been told to limit outdoor activities for students when the air quality is poor. And when it hits the severe level, schools may suspend classes. Vietnam has already approved a plan to tackle air pollution in its major cities and is phasing out gas-powered motorbikes from central business districts. The government aims for at least 80% of the days in Hanoi to have good or moderate air quality by the year 2030. Air pollution causes at least 70,000 deaths each year in Vietnam. And according to the United Nations, this shortens the average lifespan by 1.4 years. So these actions to limit air pollution by switching to electric motorbikes, by planting more trees to filter out pollutants, and by suspending high polluting construction projects, and further banning gas guzzling vehicles and banning the burning of garbage, straw, and farm products in the city, will all combined clean up the air and protect human health. And that's very, very good news for the environment. And now Lenny is going to talk to us about the Earthshot Prize.
Thanks, Charlie. The good news for the environment is the Earthshot Prize. What is that? The Earthshot Prize is inspired by the moonshot that President John F. Kennedy proposed in 1962 to land a man on the moon within a decade. The Earthshot Prize was founded by Prince William of the United Kingdom in 2020 to deal with the urgency of global warming through collective action for our planet. The Earthshot Prize is divided into 5 categories, and a £1 million award is given in each of these categories each year. The categories are Protect and Restore Nature, Clean Our Air, Revive Our Oceans, Build a Waste-Free World, and Fix Our Climate, all, hopefully, by 2030. So who are some of the winners, and how well are they doing in achieving these goals? A prize winner in 2021, Takachar, based in New Delhi, India, has developed a small-scale method for turning farm waste into a usable product while reducing carbon emissions and smoke up to 98%, helping to improve the health of locals. Sounds like they can use this in Hanoi. The Tactivator unit, as their product is called, is now deployed in southern India, the west coast of the United States, and in British Columbia, Canada. Another success story is also a 2021 winner called Coral Vita, based in the Bahamas. They have tackled the problem of coral depletion in the world's ocean by incorporating cutting-edge methods to grow coral on land up to 50 times faster than in nature. Then they place the land-grown coral in the ocean. They continue to expand their operations, including a new facility in the Middle East. These are just two of 5 winners and finalists from 2021 to 2025 that are working to achieve the Earthshot goals through action projects that give us optimism for the future. That is good news for the environment. And now Mark will share some short snippets of good news, including one of particular interest to me, that stingless bees from the Amazon have been granted legal status. Mark?
In April, New Mexico committed $50 million to expand wildlife crossings in an effort to reduce dangerous wildlife collisions. The funding, included in the state's House Bill No. 5, marks the largest state appropriation for wildlife crossings in the USA last year. It supports projects identified in the state's Wildlife Corridor Plan, including the Highway 550 corridor just north of Cuba, New Mexico, known as the Valley of Death due to severe elk and deer collisions. With 1,200 wildlife crashes each year, state officials welcome the investment, saying it will reduce collisions while also protecting elk, mule deer, pronghorn, bighorn sheep, black bears, and cougars. Members of the St. Croix Chippewa tribe in Wisconsin have released young lake sturgeon into Clam Lake as part of a restoration project. They gathered sturgeon eggs from the Yellow River and raised them in a hatchery. Then they released sturgeon fingerlings into the lake with an Ojibwa prayer. The Chippewa hope that most of the young fish survive. They will continue repopulation efforts for at least 20 years, as that's how long it takes for sturgeon to mature and reproduce. Lake sturgeon have existed for 100 million years. They can grow over 7 feet long and live 150 years, but their numbers have dwindled. Sturgeon keep the water clean by eating decaying organisms and invasive species, and that's good for the entire ecosystem. Also, the tribe has reintroduced thousands of walleyes in recent years, and that's another big success for wildlife conservation. California is working to curb methane pollution using satellite-mounted sensors to spot methane leaks. Methane is the second largest source of greenhouse gas emissions, with a global warming impact up to 80 times greater than carbon dioxide. Reducing methane is critical to slowing down temperature rise. These sensors send data from the State Air Resources Board as the satellite passes over the state. In just 6 months, the system identified and stopped 10 large leaks of the colorless and odorless gas at landfills and at oil and gas facilities. And that's equivalent to taking 18,000 cars off the road for a year. Indonesia is imposing hefty fines on miners that have operated beyond their forest permits. The move is part of a crackdown on illegal activity in Indonesia's commodities sector, which includes seizing nickel mines and launching corruption probes. The fines depend on the number of years of operation and on the commodity, with nickel miners facing the steepest penalties. Companies are fined up to $150,000 per acre of degraded jungle. The fines address habitat destruction in the sprawling commodities sector, which includes copper, gold, rubber, coffee, timber, and cocoa. And the government has already seized millions of acres of illegal palm oil plantations. Finally, stingless bees from the Amazon have become the first insects to be granted legal rights anywhere in the world. Supporters hope this will be a catalyst for protecting bees elsewhere. Across the Peruvian Amazon, these native bees now have the right to exist and flourish. Cultivated by tribes since ancient times, stingless bees are a key rainforest pollinator, sustaining biodiversity. The bees are threatened by climate change, deforestation, and pesticides, as well as by competition from European bees. The new law marks a turning point in our relationship with nature. It makes stingless bees visible, recognizes their right to exist, and affirms their essential role in preserving healthy ecosystems. And that's good news for the environment. And now, Lenny, back to you.
Thank you for listening to the Mostly Good Environmental News Report. We hope you enjoyed hearing some good news. If you like what you heard, please share with your friends and listen to more episodes of the Mostly Good Environmental News Report wherever you listen to podcasts. A special thank you to Fred Duca for the original music compositions we are using in this podcast. We'll say goodbye with a bit of that music.